Good morning, all you beautiful, brave hearts. Are you alive and well and thriving on this Monday morning? We hope you are. No matter where you are, no matter how your body's feeling right now, we need to connect to our divine source, our God that made us and made this beautiful land. I am super privileged to be here with one of the fast favorites in the Doc of Detox world, the real Dr. Judy Mikovits. Hello, Dr. Judy. Happy to be here with you. How are you today?
Good morning, Sandra. I'm doing beautifully today.
Wonderful. Well, guys, we are all about high-level collaborations because we think you need the best out there. And so we're here with Dr. Judy to talk about the information that she likes to educate people. We'll also then kind of wrap in how we're collaborating and when this tour that she's going on. And we're going to talk a little bit about what you can expect on June 8th. So put your seatbelt on. You never know where this show's going to go because we're lined up with truth and love and everything that's beautiful about the God of America. So let's just where do you want to start, my dear?
Well, I think we have some slides up there that we showed at the Truth Seekers. Um, this was Charlie Ward's conference almost a month ago now. It seems like just yesterday, but we're building on really heroes and healers of like we're going to the heroes of the faith. Well, what does it mean to be a hero of the faith? It means you love each other, and we love each other. So even when we don't understand them, we listen, even though we're out of each other's lives for a time because censorship, maybe somebody goes down, gets sick, maybe we lose a hero like Rashid Buttar, and we're temporarily, we forget, and we don't forget, we take time to honor them, and we move forward for them, never losing eyes on the target, and that is that love wins when all men are sovereign in their own health decisions, when their food's not being poisoned, when we're one nation under God again, and not one nation under a tyrannical government again. So as we're watching the leaders that we elected and seeing how fast they're moving, we are moving on the other end, literally their foundation supporting them. And I'm speaking mostly of Maha here, but also Trump's administration, because I call it the Trump Kennedy administration, because the people that were uncomfortable voting for Donald Trump, because of, even if it's misconceptions about what warp speed was, which again was a twisted thing. He was exactly right on warp speed. Yes, those are the ones you want. And so we're going right back there to the who and why. And we learned something very important thanks to this show and these heroes of the faith that will listen to me. So, the next slide, Rafa. Yes. So, we're talking about purging parasites. And I always show this infection by injection. And I talk about how energy therapies, healing therapies, like a cardio med bed or other things, people are not appreciating the various pulsed electronic magnetic frequency devices, how to use perhaps in the right setting, in the right human, the that to target not in a negative way, but to
Yeah.
heal according to God, to realize that when we purge the parasites from our government, those that are putting us in fear, and literally we know criminal, when I've shown this picture since October 12th, 2019. And I showed it again at the Truth Seekers conference a month ago, because so many more heroes, people who listen to me and said, or who saw Plandemic, or who saw David Martin in Plandemic Indoctrination, or who knew of Bobby Kennedy's book, The Real Anthony Fauci, who maybe edited it and who maybe didn't know the entire story. But now, as you're learning where it's wrong by omission, we start to drill down on the people in this picture. So I've shown this now since October 12th, 2019, and it was really the key to why COVID. Why COVID? Because when HIV AIDS was the HIV that caused AIDS, the recombinant, but we now know it didn't cause AIDS because my 1991 PhD thesis showed the innate immune response. We did all that work that the taxpayer knew since 1975 when Frank Rossetti, Candace Pert, who discovered endorphins and peptide T, which was kept from the people. And we always tell the people right now, this is summer reading. So this is the last day of classes. Next weekend is your first day of summer vacation. And so you're out at your Airbnbs at your beach, you're well trained, you've seen this, and you know that you've got to talk to as many people as you can and reassure them that with Trump Kennedy, you can enjoy your summer vacation on the beach and you can and live in love because you're showing people that the opposite of the fake news that's fear, because these people got caught because of heroes of the faith like John Richardson Sr., G. Edward Griffin. When we show again Plandemic series, you've got this on your TV. You're showing the Dallas Buyers Club, and you're asking yourself, why do we did we show that movie in 2013 and talk a narrative about 1985? And maybe now you can see this is not AIDS. Wait a minute, because in 1991, on November 14th, when I defended my PhD thesis, which again, Frank Rossetti won the NIH Distinguished Service Award, the highest medal for somebody who just a little lowly government employee, not a contractor, a government employee. I was the contractor, but my work contributed to that. I worked for Leidos, the criminal agency that is now at the airport bioweaponing you to death, detonating the parasites they've injected unchecked on every single person at birth since the very first gain of function, HIV, by way of the hepatitis B shot. So the only people who get hepatitis B are IV drug users and prostitute and the homeless. It's just like, really, it's not even the homeless. That's hepatitis A. So when we start thinking about things that we're vaccinating for and populations that were never in they were wounded by vaccinations. They're not the susceptible group. Magic Johnson wasn't a gay man, an IV drug user, or a prostitute. Well, how did Tony Fauci and Harold Varmus flanking Hillary, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton? And so I had a little context last week on my newsletter. So this will encourage people to listen to our book club and listen to our newsletter and be on BHN University throughout the summer, watching from your Airbnb and linking the dots, because we're going to do a little Where's Waldo chase of how you can, and your friends are all watching it and they don't know what cardio cardio miracle is. They've never heard of med beds. They don't know that the healing is right there, and you never need fear. What's the movie? 1986, The Act. Oh, what happened to vaccinations again? They never were immunizations. And Ronald Reagan, when all liability was removed from pharma, it was placed right on these people, HHS, starting from the Senate Majority Leader. So we're going to have little like hunts of, and all these people standing there. So last weekend, I got a little frustrated because this was so heavily censored, and people aren't getting the word out. These heroes of the faith, they're healing people. Why are people still wearing masks? Why are people still treating themselves or lying about what NO is or isn't, and what formulation of methylene blue? Why do they want you using DMSO to take those spike proteins right out of the air in the grocery store, as they're dipping your eggs in Clorox, in bleach, not and chlorine dioxide, and it is being denied, and we're not understanding anything because these people. And so I said, who are these people stopping us from natural healing? Well, the lady in the pink dress is DEA, Drug Enforcement. Well, wait a minute, they're giving away grants to people like Berlin, and Chinese foreign students from Harvard. And who is that guy on the left? So I nobody ever answered me, and I thought it was an Israeli, and they were giving away our cannabis research. I knew they were giving our natural products because they're poisoning our soil. And I've been saying, grow, baby, grow. And we've been doing it a long time. And we've developed all the natural healing that are either liquid or powders. We don't need their pills. We don't need their injections. We can do orally bioavailable at Global Healing with Ed Group, the vegan end, and then with the insulin-like growth factors from deer antlers, and the liquid products, the Merigens and the liquid, and what Dr. Darrell, when he and I, right at the same time in the 80s, were banished out of work because we dared say you were poisoning our cows. We dared say you were poisoning our earth. That Roundup wasn't a weed killer, it was a soil killer. And then when you took the cannabinoids, the terpenes out of the soil, then your plants, your lavenders don't grow with, thousands of percentage with the weeds. That's the Cherokee that I know from my past. It's the weeds that grow the flowers because they pull the poisons away. So, cannabis isn't a drug, it's a plant. It was taken out of our soil in 1938, just when 1934, chapter 5 of our book, Plague, the first cases of autism. When we passed the polio virus through mouse brains. Chapter 5, listen, audiobooks, and listen very loudly with your friends on the beach so that they can hear, and they'll say, oh my God, this is real, and it's read, and it's a story, and it's a mystery, and people are going to want to know, what are you doing? What are you doing differently, like the movie? I'm having what she's having, so we're censoring Dr. Judy and Dr. Darrell, and we will often come across as, well, you know what? And angry and tough in our conversations, but that's because we love you, and you can't see. It's not your fault you can't see. You've been lied to. But if you can step out in faith with us, as you stepped out in faith, and know that we're serving at the pleasure of the God of the universe, and the people elected, Trump and Kennedy, and I'm not one day ever going to say a bad word or even second guess what he's doing, but they're giving you clues because vaccination is not immunization, it's extermination and it's sterilization. My computer is always sitting on the American dictionary of the English language, which Trump put in as the official language of the United States of America. So there's no debate about what Noah Webster, our founding father, head of the Department of the Education of the United States of America, that one nation under God. Yes, I am preaching it, but it was Memorial Day. And every Memorial Day weekend for 20 years, Autism One, the late great Ed Aranga, who died, was murdered in the Third World War called COVID-19. Another hero, again, because the most disease susceptible are now the only ones that will stay in the quote unquote trials. We're trying to show this up to be insane. No, you injured them. You injected and caused type 1 diabetes. You injected and poisoned our fat. You poisoned our cows. You poisoned our food with GMO. It's not just the vaccination of the human, it's vaccination is vaca. It has to have cow in it. That's the Latin from this dictionary. So I looked up the word vaccination, and it says cow, and it was only up against cowpox. So I'm like, okay. So when the whole measles and the bird flu BS came up, I said, okay, let's take that one down. And we did this last year at the Clay Clark in Michigan, near Detroit, in Detroit, Michigan, before the election. And Michigan was very important in the election because Michigan's really a key in the economy of this country. And what really stopped infectious disease was the automobile when we paved the road and we got the horse shit off the street. So here, when we paved the road, the Amish can take advantage now of eating food, but somehow they decided they were God, and they could decide that God stopped at the cart and the wheel and not how to use energy therapies. Thank you, Elon Musk. Not according to Satan, but according to God. And it's not up to the who. That doesn't matter. We're one nation under God, and ultimately every knee will bow. And that's when Jesus Christ truly comes back again, that we're one nation under God, and every knee will bow, and the American Jesus goes away. Whatever the other religions, when you understand your ways to relate to God, there's only one way, and that's through the Son, and there's only one truth, not your own truth. But as you say in this show, that's when you're listening to the Holy Spirit, the one true God, not you. There's only one God, and it's not you. Your idol becomes yourself when your idol thinks you can heal it. Your idol becomes yourself when your idol thinks that you have to go back to this fear porn. Your idol has the vindication that says, I want them punished. Well, they're punishing themselves, which is what Trump and Kennedy are doing, putting them in the spotlight and letting them reveal. So we can't stick our heads in the sand. Now they're killing the ostriches. We can't stick, oh, I don't watch TV. Oh, I'm just that, no, we have to listen to each other. Oh, that Daryl, he was that bad guy that said somehow we were poisoning the cow milk. Or that Judy, she was that insane one. I mean, we did a chat GPT game yesterday at Sunday Funday dinner, my family dinner at here in Ventura, and we were chat GPT, who is Judy Mikovits? And then we went even further down the rabbit hole, and we got her to say the Leidos bioweapon. Well, who were they? They were your cancer agency. So the lady in the pink dress here, Her husband ran the contractor of Leidos. Oh, so they're selling your natural products? They're arresting you for using things. They're not giving you due process. Do you hear my constitutional complaints? And yet so many of us are going, "Oh, Dr. Judy, what do you think of methylene blue?" Stop. Get back to a foundation, get real water. There's 58 plants, Cardio Miracle. It's not an NO booster, it's an NO protector from the NO in the pollution gas to the wrong formulation to the pollution. The first chapter of Methylene Blue was Mark Sloan going off on pollution and nitric oxide gas in the pollution. Yes, in the graphene oxide. What do you think that is? It's been going on a long time. It's going through your skin. It's going through your eyes. Why you need the glasses. Why you need to protect every part of your body, but not with see-through clothings. It's by exposing yourself to the light, to the sunlight. These are people of the darkness, and we don't live in the darkness. We don't live underground. And so I know this is preachy, but that's what this is about, because in 1991, lest we forget those heroes, many of whom were lost, and nobody will even know their name, like Timothy Cunningham, who stood at the CDC and said this is wrong and ended up floating in the river. Well, last week on my little quiz, who gave me this picture when we blew it up for October 12th, 2019, Truth About Cancer. This is what Bobby saw on October in 2019. So lest you think Trump and Kennedy don't know everything, what date, and that they are guided by the one true God. What is the date this picture was taken? November 8th, 2011. These people, these satanic people, November 9th, 2011, the day I would have had an interview with Patrick Song-Shong by way of York Bridge Capital, a Canadian company from Northern Canada, by the way, where Epigenics Pharmaceuticals are my resume, which is on the website. Again, this is why show and why we even moved it to Monday and Friday, because we hear God, and from different perspectives when we know and we're following along and we're truly educating ourselves. We don't have time for fear, because they're ripping these TVs up as fast as they can go, trying to get everybody on their snake venoms, their Ozempics, and trying to get us to go for the quick fix and say, "Oh, Brian Artis is wrong," or "Christopher Key is wrong," or "so and so is wrong," or "Bobby said the word vaccination." But he failed to do his job when the FDA approved Moderna for immunization, and it wasn't vaccination. So I asked Dr. Rima, whose show I was on Saturday, and I was yelling at her, and she said, at the point, she said, "Stop yelling at me." Well, Saturday is Sabbath rest, so my friends have to hear me, and I don't agree to do shows when I'm working on Sabbath rest. This is my work, and I want you to hear my words. But I was on Sabbath rest, and I'm doing you, my friends, a favor by giving them my wisdom, and you won't hear me. You keep screaming about Bobby Kennedy and vaccination. Well, when I had you scroll down to the sheet, it said right there on the material data safety sheet, it said immunization by the respiratory virus SARS-CoV-2. Oh, well, the corrupt governor of Hawaii, who testified in the Senate in front of Ron Johnson and was on both Children's Health Defense and the High Wire, which I told you about on our shows a couple of weeks ago. I'm teaching you what to do each week to not only empower and heal your mind, but not be so worried about your body that you can't see where your fear is stopping your brave heart from being obedient to the Holy Spirit, because the obedience is where we are now as a people. And so that's what you're going to hear. So this is very dangerous. And the two people came up with the original picture. November 9th, 2011 was the day I escaped on a boat called Baby Jonah, Jonah the Whaler. you know, um, who took his our brand new Boston whaler, an unsinkable boat from Boston. It's like Paul Revere and the midnight. If you get into my insanity, it makes it fun, and that's why I want to show you. This isn't a science talk on Saturday. This is a how did God work? Why? How? In only because these people. I screamed at Brian Artis and everybody, some of the people you're going to hear. I just screamed at them. Or I sat in the front row when they're giving a talk and I said, "You're wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong." And he sat there and he couldn't get his head off it the entire time because he's a good man and he wants to impress me. He's a good young man and he's learning. Does he know everything? No, but he's a good young man and he's learning. And so this is why this date matters, and scientists at sea. So we're going to listen to it in our book club this week on Wednesday night at Dr. Judy Mikovits. But see, the book club, this is Heroes of the Faith. It's like the Bible opening up for you as you write the testimonies, his stories, his capital H-I-S, God's story in this one nation under God. And this is why President Trump, yes, we're North Americans, one and all. Mexico is one of the original, as is the Alaskan Indians. We're the indigenous people of this continent. And God's plan was for this continent. And that's why we share borders, just like the borders of your gut and the borders of your brain are your blood-brain barriers. Some are solid borders like the skin. And so when we compare this to militarily, that's why it matters that when we're neighboring nations, in the nations, that we have a level playing field. And I'm using Trump's words and Kennedy's words, both in parallel spaces, because mostly I stay in my lanes. And so when asked by Dr. Rima on her podcast, and I'll make sure you get that in the show notes so that we also have Dr. Rima on the show in future shows, because it's really important that all she did was she said, "Stop yelling at me." So I went ahead and I muted and I said, "But you can't hear the word. The word says immunization. There is none. None of vaccination has to have cow blood in it. So by definition, since our science paper came out in 2009, October 23rd, just in time for that H1N1 to kill a lot of people and cover up, in fact, that this was how these diseases were being spread through the nations. They weren't accidentally released. They're shipped to the cell lines that never changed. They're not monkey cells, they're monkey cell lines. But people don't understand the words and they've moved on to CIDP. We're gonna show you what is CIDP. Well, it's multiple sclerosis, and you cured that. The man's name is Dennis Taub and Frank Rossetti, National Institute of Aging and National Cancer Institute. And we submitted the bench to bedside grants. We submitted the R01 grant. We had a DOD grant for both prostate cancer and PTSD. The whole Milken family, all the money, $10 million. A blood company that I co-founded, $150,000 a month. This is and yet Epigenics Pharmaceuticals and that Canadian company, and now the sorry, the job interview I had on November 9th, 2011 was with Patrick Sonchong. And he will not remember that because I never made it to that interview. But he was on X on he was on X, all spaces like hospital homicide, being censored like Dr. Darrell, like, and killed as fast as they can kill us with their bioweapons. They're killing as many people of the faith as they can. And God knows that plan. And so we just have to keep moving forward as a brave heart nation and trust that each other has their backs. Where, yes, I'll stop yelling at you, but it's very important that you don't get caught in the weeds. That word says immunization, and a vaccination has to have cow blood in it. And therefore, there is no vaccine. And we proved with the fraud of Pfizer and every one of these that that's not a vaccine. And so they can't, and it doesn't have cow blood in it. So the law says immunization. So they have to do their trials with all their things and not in a disease population where you injected them with any variant of mRNA. Because when all liability was removed in 1986 by Ronald Reagan, who some of us say that was the worst decision. Well, the compensation program was built on because Tony Fauci told Ronald Reagan, somebody has to die. Oh, you targeted the indigenous people of the North Americas, all of them, from the Hispanics when you made it about marijuana and Laetrile. No, that's not amygdalin, and that's not vitamin B17. And when you understand how words were intentionally racist to make us, it's not marijuana. And oh, by the way, Cheech and Chong live better than we do. And where Morgellons in Canada, Joni Mitchell, the Canadian singers, we knew right there in British Columbia, the best natural products university. My colleague, my student, Onesmo Mapanjo, defended his PhD thesis on linoleic acid and ceramides and the natural products, everything we knew. And these people had every bit of this in their hands when they orchestrated Tony Fauci and Harold Varmus and Collins orchestrated the firing, criminal fraud in the scientific literature by scientists at sea, and then forcing the retraction of the paper and from the best journal of the world, and having Chat GPT and oh, you're going down that rabbit hole conspiracy. Oh, they said Darrell Wolfe, they said Doxydeta, they dared to say the cows were poisoned. I mean, it's hysterical. We had so much fun yesterday listening to this. And this is the thing. Please don't get caught in anger, and that's why I love Rima, and that's why I yelled at her. Stop. Get out of the fear. Let Bobby and Trump throw these layups and let us slam dunk it. Let us be the 2019 Who Dogs. Who are they? They're the University of Virginia Wahoos. And right on that thing, it says, who's laughing now? In 2018, they were the number one ranked basketball team, and they lost to the 64th team out of Maryland, and that hurts Oahu. But that Christian coach, Tony Bennett, did, such a great job at keeping these kids level-headed and like you play as a team. And they came back and they got themselves in the exact same, it makes me cry almost, in the exact same position the next year. And and they trusted each other. They were a bunch of they had the United Nations on that team, a little guy from Thousand Oaks, and I don't even remember his name right now. But and when you watch the last four games of the 2019 NCAAs that I've seen it, the time I have that gold hat. I have that gold hat that I will wear, and I actually am wearing when I stood in Oxnard, California in public health. And I said to that little girl who'd already been injured, and they were going to file SB 276, where they can inject anyone they wanted, and they're still doing that right now in Thousand Oaks. I'm going to go down with Pastor Rob today and say we need to immunize these kids. And those injections never were an immunization. And people don't understand warp speed was because Trump was tricked into signing the universal flu vaccine on September 19th, 2019. Bobby Kennedy heard my talk, which included this picture of these parasites. Who was robbing oxygen from the United States of America? Who was making us fight each other with the variants? Who was putting the drug to it? Watch the high wire last Thursday. You will see the I think he's a maternal doctor for moms and a pediatrician, pregnant women, maybe both. He was brilliant. He was showing the SSRIs. Oh, you mean they do the same thing a vaccine does? Yes, because tryptophan metabolism. Why did you kill our birds? Oh, bird flu, and now it's cow milk, and that's why everybody's fat. And people are starting to see we make vitamin D, and that's why Cardio Miracle, and you shine the light on it. We didn't just put the ingredients in the recipe. That was a God download to John Hewlett in 2007, and nobody heard him. Nobody. He said, "Oh, you're an insurance agent. What are you doing? You sell whatever he sold. I don't know." But and so then he finally got somebody to listen to him about the whole NO in the booster. No, it's your NO. It's your enos, your endothelial nitric oxide synthetase, because SARS-CoV-2 didn't cause a respiratory disease. It caused a vascular disease. And that idiot in Hawaii, that criminal governor, is experimenting on 4,000 people. He gave injections and long COVID, which is 1934 ME/CFS, myalgic encephalomyelitis, and they changed that and multiple sclerosis and the whole neuropathy level brain fog diseases right from the second slide, which is the next slide, Rafa. This is the 2012. Here is the road map. Whether it turns to cancer and the post exertional malaise at the level of your HPA axis hits your microglia and your astrocytes in your mast cells. That's why your brain has a hard shell on it, because P53 is the protector of the genome. And it's the number one target of cancers and AIDS, but it's also the neurotoxicity. And we do generate new neurons, but not if your mitochondria in your brain are fueling your muscles and your leaky vasculature throughout, because your soil is contaminated. You don't have minerals. Alkaline earth minerals are what? Zinc, calcium, magnesium, manganese. We've got to get these things from the plants because they're the weapons in nature that kill the viruses, the poisons, the parasites, that are robbing oxygen from our red blood cells. Here's the entire, it's a signature disease. It's not just TNF, it's not just TG, but TGF beta is in every signature. It's the master regulator of the hematopoietic stem cell. So right there in our Genius Omnitura prostate cancer drug from that XMRV, well, it's a cousin of the one that causes chronic Lyme disease. You don't kill the bacteria in the gut non-discriminately with broad spectrum antibiotics because you see the single targeted snipers that come out of your soil. Shall I say natto? And I didn't say nattokinase because nattokinase is not a kinase. A kinase puts a phosphate on a group on a molecule, and AMP, ATP. So you're using up phosphorylation to ATP to ADP to ATMP to adenosine. Adenosine outside the cell is a danger signal and it's immune suppressive. So it's going to close all the gates so that the calcium doesn't flow in, so that the channels, and you've got to get the cannabinoids that are flowing. You've got to calm the flame because if you get to the brain, you're dead. But what you get is long-standing disease, whether the cancer or the Parkinson's, that's up on this chain. Cancer and Parkinson's are in the certain thing because P53 is so important to this. Well, they know that Leidos machine and the bioweapons and the heavy metals, that you're not protected because the alkaline earth minerals are out of the soil. So what's the next slide? So John Hewlett, download from God, 2007, Cardio Miracle. Well, I saw the product that it took him until 2014 just to get somebody to make it. I saw it in 19 and 17 and 18, and I looked at the recipe and I said, yeah, there's a lot of other things out there. But most importantly, this was a powder. And I'm like, okay. And this was a sprinkle of this. It's not 1:1:1. I'm not against fenbendazole or ivermectin or anything else, but you don't put them in there 1:1:1:1. How did the government in that picture in the first, how did they get you with hydroxychloroquine? What don't you know about Tess Lawrie and how they took down the epidemic of fraud? You'll get to Sabine Hassan. That's another one of your summer movie watching. You'll get to Sabine Hassan, and you'll get to John Davidson's movie, The Epidemic of Fraud. That's about hydroxychloroquine. Use it at the wrong dose in the wrong person at the wrong time. And it was called Plaquenil. So it was on the shelf for arthritis, and you'll hear it in Frank Rossetti's book. You'll hear it in his sister. You'll hear it as they knew how they were developing these diseases since our founding fathers. You hear it as they're trying to cull the cultures, to cull us and restore, lose the diversity. Lose the diversity that is our strength. All of it. What is multiple myeloma? You make one antibody. One antibody. No, you lose the diversity in your bone marrow because you lost the diversity in your poop. There. Oh, the parasites. And what's in the urine? Ed group, urine therapy. And what's in the urine of the cows that are pooping in the circle of life? In the urine are the viruses. Viruses are obligate parasites. So we found in the urine when you use the right stabilization agent, we found the XMRVs in the urine. So what that meant was you were making the antibodies if you were being nutrified. As long as you had this food, you didn't develop any disease. So your black people's vitamin D sensors, as you point all the way to the left over, if your cursor, those vitamin D are protected by a liver enzyme. That's what SIP is. So when I met John October 21st of 2021, 2 years after I gave that talk that Bobby saw, he's been holding the fort in the forward of our book, and nobody saw it, and it's been censored and censored and censored. And the people that do see it are running like chickens with their head cut off. They don't see it, and they just start protecting themselves. No, that's not what you do. This is 58 plants according to God. And so when you look at these things, I still cry to see it, because those two red dots are right there, and they're ready to attack. They're ready to attack P53, and it's surrounded by your heroes in the sky. Elon Musk, let's get that EE system. Let's get that red light. Let's put on those glasses and make sure what goes through your eyes and what goes on your skin is protected with silver and essential oils. Not just any oils, but the oils from trees and lavender. The lavender's not making the right oils anymore because the cannabinoids the terrain our animals eat. They're not drugs, and I never smoked one, but boy, I've healed a lot with the leaves. The stem is where the toxin is. Please don't buy it at a gas station. So you see, this is the spectral clustering nutraceutical nutrition and it is a drug, both a drug and a food, and it satisfies the Botanical Drug Guidance Act. By this study, no label claim need be made, and it is an approved drug that Trump and Kennedy can give to every human being on the planet. Free. Free, because those people in that picture poisoned you, and they were so bold as to thought I was going to die on 2009, and I escaped. I told God, sure God, I'll go to Nineveh, San Diego, I'll go to Nineveh. I'm going with an incredibly handsome boat captain who can run this, saved my life when we picked up that Boston whaler. When I got engaged for him, I bought him a house. He was homeless. I mean, my kids, you're not an orphan until you don't have a father. But his wives were both injured by vaccines. And you heard it in the high wire PMS. You hear what's happening to our kids now. You hear how people are killing their children. Who killed Adam Lanza? Who was his mother? How did they do that and kill those kids at Sandy Hook? It wasn't Alex Jones. So, but the narrative, well, he was right. He shouldn't have said anything, but it was twisted by the media, just like I'm twisted by the media, just like Dr. Darrell was twisted by the media to a point of exile. But we love you so much that we listened to each other and we saved the everything. And now we've got two of the best fighters in a cabinet, a team of rivals where they're not afraid to yell at each other. And they know that through that. And I mean, I can tell you how long and loud I scream at Bobby sometimes. And he never once just said, and I scream at Frank Rossetti in public meetings. I'm dressing them down, and I guarantee you I can use some big words nobody will understand, and you look like a fool. And at one point, at one of these meetings, the criminal doc Nancy Klimas at the CDC, who let people get sick, just look up Nancy Klimas, tell me who she is in this whole story of agency heads who are scared to death. So we were at this meeting, and I'm saying, it's not, it's so. And we're like, prove it, and she's like, and this person is going, because nobody ever talked to you like that. he's talking to her. They don't know who he is. And I'm the person that discovered everything. Well, and he's listening to me. And I'm like, you're wrong. And Candace Pert is right there laughing. And Luc Montagnier is such a gentleman that when you hear the story Ending Plague and you listen to it all summer long and you realize that a scholar's obligation, what is a doctor? It's a teacher. So a scholar's obligation in an age of corruption. It's nothing we haven't seen before. Ecclesiastes in the Bible. So we're empowering you, hopefully, this hour by laughing and showing you why you want to be there on Saturday, because all we're going to give you is the vignettes. We've said, and Sherry Tenpenny is one of the best. And I'll say it has to do with her book. So I'm with her only a month ago at that meeting where I gave this talk, and she's at the table, and she, you could tell she's mad at me because she's just like, and I'm like, Sherry, that book. I'm like, that book, yes, that talk you just gave, because sometimes we get into our own heads. And where I'm going to be at Florida, I was in Ohio, and it's epigenetics. It's Pastor Dave, so Pastor Casper McLeod. It's sorry, Ann Vandersteel. It's General Flynn. It's Patrick Byrne. And we're trying to show you to stay awake, and yet I don't want to give you this talk. I want to give you when Ann Vandersteel, when they tried to divide us, when they tried to separate her, when they tried to make us hate these products. These aren't about products. These are about heroes. Well, at that barn, Sherry Tenpenny, I was angry. There were 20 people in the room. I could hardly get there. Ohio Amy, I'll call her. She didn't get me a room. She didn't do anything. I was full on in my head. Who are you? I'm Dr. Judy, and I suffered this, and and again, we're humans, and we have to be forgiven. And so I get there, and I'm in the back of the room, and I'm exhausted. I've with the planes. I can't fly on a plane anywhere, so I'm upset because my friends are sick. My friends are being poisoned. I can't get a med bed anywhere. I can't get anybody to buy this. It's been censored. I can't get the drugs there. The deadly stents by Abbott, who brought you HIV/AIDS, is now killing you with the sudden adult stents they're loading with graphene oxide, and it's spitting all this stuff, and I can't even get this stuff as a foundation in the Plavix off it, or the things, and it's on the TV, and you the sheeple are just running in fear, and we don't realize we don't have time for you to lean on your own understanding. Come to the practitioners who stepped out in faith, and listen now years later how God's got you. And God knows all of this all the way, and all he's asking for, will we, the nations, come together once and for all? The nations, whether they be whatever the religion that relinks you to God, as long as you know that Jesus is the one true God, and he was sent to earth and crucified and raised again so that you could do this and be saved, so that you could heal. But it requires an act of faith. We need to love each other and not lean on our own understanding, and trust us. You gave them 50 years. Give us the summer. And give us the summer. Nothing critical. Watch these movies. Educate yourselves. Get in here. Go to these practitioners. I'll let you take it from here. Go to these events. I've scheduled to go to Dr. Cheryl. I always wanted to do it. It's like, yeah, get in your car and do it. Scott, come on, from Cincinnati. Come, you're a great guy. Let's go make these appointments and see these people. I can't go to Mexico yet, but God didn't call me to Mexico. He called me to stay in California. And like I say, when Secretary Kennedy and Trump call me, I will go I will pray about it and go do the next job. But I serve at the pleasure of one God, only one, the one true God. And that's who's called me to serve for free at the pleasure of the Trump Kennedy administration. I call it my friend Bobby, and my friend who I've never met, but who I honor because of what he's done to get us to give us another chance. And so for that, come see us on Saturday, and please, not that you don't criticize them, but criticize them with a foundation of just data. Read the words. Vaccination is not immunization. So we can bury Moderna. Oh, but you don't have one. Go back to start over again. You're going to have to prove all of it in vitro, in the laboratory, in animals, and in humans. That's a long time. And we all know it won't work. So don't inject you with the ones that were already that universal flu vaccine. RSV, everything on that. Please immunize your kids, and we will do it. This is your oral and mucosal immunization. We will, but we must protect your kids from the gouty. You've got this summer because they're coming after the ones they injured. Those are going to be the ones they try, and that's not fair because the bioweapons are already there. So as quickly as we can heal it with the cardiomed beds, they already are forcing you to do that to go to school again. That's my job. Let me yell because I know who hears me. So that's my job. You do your homework. Here, listen to Scientists at Sea, Plague of Corruption on Wednesday in the space, or just take it to the beach with you on summer vacation. First day of summer, first day of June, new start. Let's go.
Perfect. You know what? Sometimes when people yell, it's because it's exactly what Daryl teaches. You're off somewhere else. If you can't, get someone's attention and bring them into the present moment and have them actively listening, right?
Right.
And if you want to run around and keep wearing a mask, you're not ready to listen to the person that might need to yell. So we're gonna love everybody, and we're gonna educate the ones that want to show up. I'm really thankful that you're going to be able to connect with Dr. Cheryl and get some cardio med bed and everything else. Everything that we're set for is Sunday, June 8th. So do you have something else going on Saturday on the 7th, or are you speaking of Sunday, June 8th when we're going to do our big show? Oh, I think you're muted, love.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of Sunday, June 8th,
Okay.
but Saturday is the Sabbath rest. So I want everybody to practice that, to get in a frame of mind with an expectation of, man, this is going to be fun. So go to your farmer's market. So, we have a routine here on Team Dr. Judy. So I'm telling you now because it's Monday and I want you. And so we're going to give you that pep talk on Friday and teach you the next thing of it, and finish this little slide set and say, and then at sundown on Friday now, you're going to watch what God did with your work this week. So all your job is to do this week is tell your networks to be there Saturday.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay, that's lovely. Did you want to chat about the rest of the slides?
Oh no, we'll do that on
Okay,
Friday.
sure. Okay, that's
That's
great.
where
Well,
Dr. Cheryl works into it.
perfect. Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. Well, there you go, folks. We have given you that little sneak peek of what's going to be going on. Thank you so much for teaching. I so much appreciate you. And one thought in the very beginning was, yeah, all these energy medicine devices are so exciting. And Daryl has a whole plethora that he likes to use in Ixtapa, and he's teaching practitioners to open up what we call power pack clinics. I think, and tell me if I'm wrong, love, because you definitely know more than me. I think definitely need to understand all the energy medicine devices, because sometimes our body's not able to move those toxins out. So a doc
Oh, it's
detox, if
critically important. You're exactly right, Sandra.
yeah.
This is critically important because that's why I mentioned the Leidos machine in the airport, because they know the exact frequencies to hurt you, according to each booster, according to each virus, because in 1991, they were liable for 1 million Americans. Now, every American knows that since 1986 and before it, 1934 with polio, they've injected these animal viruses. They know they're activating them from latency to get this each specific pathway, and they're fighting against the EE system. They're fighting against. They know the HOCAT. They know they know the deuterium depleted water is an issue. Heavy water playing ping pong ball. This is Dr. Petra Dorfman who will be there on Saturday. They know this is, that the next slides will show on Friday. They know the bioweapons in the airport. They know when you're at the beach what they're shooting through the sky. That's why you better have this on your eyes, these sunglasses. That's why you better have these C60s before you go out there, because yes, what's coming down on me is metallics to the point. If I hold a magnifying glass, and this is what I do at our farmers market, I do little teaching. When there were heavy metals in a red tide. And I held that down there and I burned wet grass. And I'm like, oh, Moses, the burning bush, and people laugh at me. And that's the whole idea of God wins, because each of these heroes of the faith, some of them we could get this time, but we'll get them on their own shows for people like Dr. Stephanie Seneff, not shown here, but critical to it, and glyphosate and toxicity. But see, we the people aren't ready for that yet. We can't drain the swamp too slowly. And you've got to really understand this key central thing. Can't be a vaccine if it has cow blood. So they're pushing this universal flu vaccine because they're liable. So the more people they can get injected, every shot now is since 2009 was a COVID shot, including Gardasil, which is critically important because they don't have any cow blood in them. They can't be called vaccines. So we've got Bobby and the team. They know this. Aaron Siri, the Informed Consent Action Network, support that network. Watch the High Wire, do these things while you're at the beach houses, while you're at the Airbnb, stream live these shows, because that's why we're going, just like at night if you watch Gutfeld. So on Gutfeld, these guys go on tours with their books. Well, we're on tours with all the books in the bottom right-hand screen. And so next weekend, there are two tours, one with hospital homicide. I'm sorry, not next weekend, June 20th. So this is a tour next weekend on June 8th, the online tour, everybody, to start the summer and show you locations where we will go there, and which heroes products will be used. Yes. So this is exactly what we're going to be doing, is showing you as if we're watching a Gutfeld show all day, a continuous, like a marathon. What was the show, Danny Thomas? So we're doing Danny Thomas 2025, and we're raising money for the practitioners and for the people who were injured. And we're going to show you how we're going to implement everything at these healing centers near you. And so we'll be going with the people who need the help in introducing them and building the network as quickly as possible to create the next generation, or I shouldn't say create, they're already there, but they need help right now. Brian Artis needs to understand the EE system. And Rich Orley is one of the people who will show up on the 8th. And Rich Orley's book, Minerals According to the Genetic Code. The book is in our store. See, all of this is summer reading. So you're going to do what I did when I was a kid. You've got summer reading for your classes before in the fall you're ready for medical school. Dr. Lynn Lafferty, she's going to be there on the 21st, and she'll be a healer of the faith that will come on, maybe we didn't get her this time. I'm not sure because we have such a great long list of these 18 world leaders, but they're the leaders. They're not going to teach you their products. They're going to show you how love wins, and they're going to talk about the book. So Sherry Tenpenny was right there. And she's like, I was in the back of the room in Ohio, the first of these events, and I was angry. And she's like, and I was like, no, I don't have any slides. I'm tired teaching morons, and she's sitting in the back with her little dog, and I'm like, Judy, why do you do this? And I just like what Mickey said, Judy, I guess you don't believe in divinity. And I'm like, I do, and he laughed because he loves me. Mickey will be there. Heroes of faith, he laughed, and it's like, and we're going to be telling these stories because, and right there, that hero that all the way back to 2005, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, who humbled herself, and she wrote an article that I saw in 2000. She wrote the article in 2005, and I was asked to write a article by Bobby Kennedy, then Bobby Kennedy's World Mercury Project, and Lynn. I'll just say Lynn's first name, but people who are now Children's Health Defense. So Brian Hooker, and that's what I said in the beginning in 19. So Sherry, she said, why do you do this? And I was, and I'm like, and she looked stern. And after a while, I pointed to heaven. And she's like, and she didn't say another word. And then she gave her talk and she showed this book. So I'm all the way back in Miami with her. And then I gave a talk that was considerably different and calmer than what I would have said. And I said, I just humbled myself and brought a little preaching like it today, and stop with the pity party because I discovered this stuff a long time ago. Who cares? Who cares? Let's just have some fun. So that I'm in Miami and she's at the table, and you can tell she's kind of irritated with me. And I'm not sure why, but at any rate, she talked about her book there, and she had an advance sale, and I didn't buy one, or I didn't take one home. Well, the reason didn't take it home because I couldn't carry it. So I actually had somebody mail it to me, but I'm there, and I'm like, well, you didn't give me an autograph copy of your book. And she's like, will you read it? And I said, I promise. And because I made a promise, I sat down on the plane on the way home, and I'm like, oh my God, I wish I'd seen this 10 years ago. And it was magnificent. That's what we're going to talk about. Not a product, not a thing. Even though she knows Cardio Miracles, she's got one of those energy systems called the ECP system. And she knows when she partners it with the med bed, that's what we all need to do is educate each other. There's no one way. God gave us so many ways to heal. It's just the only way to the truth is love. And so if we can't love each other enough to forgive each other enough, but I made a promise. And if I hadn't made the promise, I might not have done it on the way home because I was tired. But it changed everything. I got to Compton there with Riza Islam, Christina Parks, who will also be there on Saturday, and their intellectual power product. It is a product, but it's the education. In Christina Parks, which was the only scientist who ever testified in front of Ron Johnson. There was no scientist in that hearing last week. Peter McCullough lied. He's not the chief scientific officer because he's not a scientist. He's not a scientist. That's fraud. That should get him jailed. He was selling a box of antibiotics without the knowledge of how, in who, on what foundation. That would put one of our energy healing practitioners in jail, right? Shall I say Robert O. Young? So shall I say almost killed, Patrick Wood, a healer of the faith? Shall I say Reiner Fomish for showing the crime in the dichotomy of the legal networks is still in jail? Oh, so yeah, These are dangerous, I call them tour of duties, but we're only bolstered because we're working for you. So it's free. You have not only nothing better to do, but I want you on that beach. I want you on that Sabbath rest on Sunday. I want you fully prepared and expecting God to show you, because that's what you do on the Sabbath rest. You work 6 days from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. You watch what God did with your work. Whatever that looks like to you, what that looks like to me is go to the farmer's market and somebody says, "Hi, Dr. Judy," and they're there buying the bee pollen and they're there buying the eggs from the shepherd farm who have the live feed and they don't use Purina, and they're there talking about borax and your lemons and your lives. And it's like, hey, we have a lot of fun on Saturday. We stop at Ventura Coast Brewery and we get the IPA, or we stopped at the little old couple that are the winemaker in Santa Barbara, and the most beautiful grapes, pure, not the chemicals. It's not the alcohol, it's the chemicals they put in the alcohol in the grocery store. And so we go there and we sit and we see, oh, does a Pinot work with the cauliflower, the nicotine? Oh, you can't put a nicotine patch on if you don't have a nicotine foundation or a Cardio Miracle foundation. Notice there's no cauliflower in it. So I don't want you buying any of those on the back of that. If it's there, don't supplement it until we build you back to a foundation. You're fasting on ProImmune and Cardio Miracle. You're fasting, and we're going to add the layers and pair them like a fine wine with the various healing modalities. And that's why I go from modality to modality to bring more healers to using these things in a way that everybody will be healed. We can't have that med bed yet because people will kill themselves if they have no nutrition. They will continue being able to perpetrate their fraud. It's not a supplement, it's a nutrient. We can't get that right now because our soil is dead. But we got to support our farmers and give them time to grow. We can't put a fear porn crisis about you have no meat. No, those are your fruits and vegetables and your only fruits and vegetables. It's in there. You don't buy that anywhere, not in a grocery store, not as in a farmer's market, because we're doing clinical trials God's way. We're doing clinical, but they will satisfy humans way because Bobby is in charge of HHS. So the gun is to the head of those bad guys that perpetrated the fraud. So we need everybody there because you, the people, have to ask for it. You have to write your congressman. You have to tell everybody, watch this, watch this. It's got Christina Parks. Watch this, watch this. You've got to get there Saturday. And that's your joy of watching what that's going to be my joy on my Sabbath rest is what does God do with my work is who shows up on Sunday.
Wonderful, Judy. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you for being you. And I don't think it's unreasonable that you have a few days where you just feel a little bit sorry for yourself. That's okay. I think you've taken a lion's share on in your life. You didn't know that you were taking down that path. So, we have to give ourselves grace to go, you know what? I had a bad day. But thank you so much for being there. You've recalibrated how I'm going to look at my work. You've recalibrated to me to make sure I have a Sabbath to sit and ponder and look at what has come from my work. So thank you very much. And you've changed my life yet again. I look forward to seeing you on the 8th, and Dr. Daryl Wolfe and yourself will be together on Friday to catch any of those last minute people out there. So folks out in Doc Detox world, Judy, you're welcome to go about your day. I'll make sure the rest of the Doc Detox people are aware of what's going on within our business, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
Okay. May I stay and watch? Because I learned so much about your business. My job is to speak for you too. Thank you.
Wonderful. Absolutely, dear. Okay, Rafa, I'm going to just stop the share for a minute. I don't know if you have any slides that are ready, because I just need to change things up on this end, and he's better at it than me. But as I do that, let's talk about, you talked about all these different kinds of energy medicine devices. Rafa, if that's you, thank you very much. And my comment was, yeah, everything here at Doc of Detox is saying, let's make sure your body's prepared to detox, to move those things out. Yes, let's go find these energy medicine devices. Let's figure out what you need and what that person needs. But let's make sure your foundational health is there so that when these energy medicine devices do their magic, your body goes, thanks, now I know what to do. And the lymphatic system goes to work and moves it out of the body. Let me just click a few more times here. Okay. And I'm going to go back to this presentation. There we are. Okay.
I just so love her. I hope I'm invited to that one.
Absolutely, you'll
there.
be invited. Okay, so I'm going to, Sandra's learning how to do this on the fly, Judy. There we are. Okay. There we go. Good. Oh, Rafa, is that you? Because I don't think I hit share. Yes, so right now we've got a sale in honor of what you've got set up with Dr. Dara Wolfe, the Healers of the Faith, from today until June the 15th, up to 30% off. So head into the store. And as we've been told by our media team, hey, we're growing by leaps and bounds. We want to make sure that you guys never lose touch with Doc of Detox, right? The truth we share and we teach, we might become out of reach. So to stay connected and thrive, get on the bhnapp.com, right? Free health and healing. And today is a fabulous example of these high-level collaborations that Dr. Dara Wolfe has brought in. So do we really have enough trust in all the social media channels that they're not going to start shadow banning us, right? So head to that. We're going to keep the shows in there, your library contents in there. And so make sure you never lose contact with Dr. Dara Wolfe and any of these high level people that he brings about to the table. Within that app, you are going to be able.
If I may say something that I think is very important, the fact that this is banned from Facebook again is critically important to why I yelled on Saturday is what are you doing on Facebook? You know they're lying to you. You know that wasn't Bobby saying that. He didn't say anything about Barbara O'Neill. You know they do the bot, so it sounds like it's coming out of my mouth. Why are you even there? That's causing the division. And so I'm asking you, yes, you've got to repent and turn from that world. That's the point, because you're polluting your mind, not just when you don't do what we do, but each time you go back to that, like you just said, Sandra May, that's if it's banned, don't, that's God telling you not to go there.
Yeah, absolutely. So within the BHN app, you are going to be able to track your perfect day. You are going to see news and events. Excuse me. You're going to see a New World Practitioner map. Dr. Judy said that she's going to head over and see Dr. Cheryl on her tour. Dr. Cheryl is one of the practitioners that showed up that is considered a master practitioner in our world. And so she now owns a Power Pack clinic, right? So you can see the map and who is closest to you. The Evolve tab is the world's largest free online source of videos, guides, and audios for self-healing. The Connect tab is, of course, our own chat function, so you can share things. And the Perfect Match is the qualification to be a part of the Perfect Match is you're going to have to watch the 33-day Braveheart emotional series that Dr. Dara Wolfe put together pre-COVID. And it's almost a little freaky when you listen to what he was telling you. Hey, if you're going to be awake and aware, these are some of the skills you need. And his take, Judy, has always been, you need to understand the power of self-love and self-forgiveness and letting yourself off the hook. And also that subconscious brain that says, don't change yet. No, you're not dead. Don't change. No. Stay in your status quo, right? Again, that's kind of why people like Judy and Daryl need to yell every once in a while because you're in that scary place in your brain. You're in that subconscious brain. So do the
and we love you enough that we don't want you there. We love you.
Right. That's right. You need to be in the present moment so you can connect with God and hear the truth. So if you're going to be a part of the Perfect Match, watch that 33-day video series so that you can make sure you're kind of on the same wavelength, right? So head to, oh, and then there's the mindful moment, a beautiful Tibetan bell that just helps you bring yourself into the present moment. In the very beginning, you might need to set that for every 5 minutes. You need to challenge those thoughts to say, hey, what am I doing? What am I thinking of? I'm in my car. I don't need to be fussing about a fight I just had with the guy at the post office or something, right? So use that mindful moment to bring yourself into the present moments so that you can go, oh, wait a minute. Ah, right. I'm just going to let myself off the hook. Yeah. Okay, new Sandra knows something different, right? So head to bhnapp.com to unleash your power of self-healing and self-love. Now, Dr. Sage Wolfe is a very lovely person. Judy, you need to meet Sage too. He is completely his own person. So it is amazing. And him and Daryl, I think they're almost best friends. It is so, it's so amazing to meet Sage, but to see them interact too. It's hilarious. Anyways, Dr. Sage Wolfe is in Stuart, Florida right now. I do believe. Yes, the Wolfe Non-Surgical, which is the physical technique that Dr. Darrell Wolfe developed. One of the first things he developed was, and maybe you know this, maybe you don't, Judy, but he took courses to be a massage therapist. And then Daryl was like, wow, this isn't the real deal. Like the original thought just knew that being a massage therapist was great. You're going to help people relax, but it's not the real deal. He knew then that it was physical blocks getting in the way that is going to be causing a lot of the problems. So he developed this technique of using the elbow and going in. I'll turn my screen down just so you can see a little bit better. Not going to be nice for Facebook, but anyways, uses the elbow to gently go in and open up the body and open up some of those. Yeah, you will feel this. You're not going to do anything rough to the body. You will feel. I've taken the training, although I don't do it professionally, but I've took the training because I didn't want to limit myself. You will feel so much in someone's body when you put that elbow to the body and you do this motion. Dr. Sage Wolfe is the master of masters, and he teaches this. The Wolfe Non-Surgical course in Stuart, Florida is going to be done on June 4th. And then he's going to stay and be doing treatments and consultations from June 6th to June 10th. So anyone out there, Deborah is a master practitioner in Stuart, Florida. To book with her or book with Sage while he's still around, 305-342-9559. To talk directly with Dr. Sage Wolfe, he is an open book, just like Daryl, 250-801-5673. Okay, and then Dr. Sage Wolfe is heading to Calgary. If you just want to switch that slide up, there you go. Thanks, Rafa. Heading to Calgary, he's going to be doing treatments. He's also going to be teaching the Wolfe Non-Surgical by itself. And let's just go through this. We talked about Wolfe Non-Surgical. Then he's going to be having the cell sonic regeneration because once we've done that Wolfe Non-Surgical on that area, we've opened up the lymph flow, the blood flow. We've got things flowing. Then to use the cell sonic, give that electrical pulse, kind of like these cells will have a diseased spin to it. You give the cell sonic regeneration, it can stop. Because you've already done the Wolfe Non-Surgical, you've opened it up, that communication is there. Those cells quickly go, hey, wait a minute. Oh, I'm actually supposed to be rotating like this. So it very quickly brings back the proper spin and energy level of those tissues. Dr. Sage Wolfe carries with him a thermography. So it is non-invasive. It simply takes the temperature of your skin, doesn't do anything else. But this thermography he does on the points of the body tests the regulation, the ability of the body to regulate between a warm and a cold setting. Statistically, they prove that can predict what's going to come about in your body. So to do this thermography is a great place for everyone to start, to give you a picture of, oh, hey, my most serious area is the bladder, because we can tell there's blocks there, right? They do points here because we know the nervous system connects through the dental region. And so that can be a picture for your body. But it is an excellent thing for people that are in the, or if you're partway through and you kind of want to have a measuring stick of how far you've progressed, you can do the thermography. With that thermography, Dr. Sage Wolfe will do a full consultation with you. He also carries a handy little device to do a heavy metal test to see where you're at and if you're off the charts with your heavy metals. To book any of those While he's in Calgary, Alberta, he'll be there June 26th to June 30th. You will call Lorraine at 403-605-9216. And so we'll run through the rest of the slides quick because it will be the same offerings in each location, everybody. St. Louis, Missouri is the next stop, July 6th to July 15th. You're going to call Tim, 479-215-9592. And then Occidental, California, with Cheryl, the lady that Dr. Sage Wolfe mentioned. Yep, Cheryl, Judy's in the background doing this when she's mentioning Cheryl. July 20th to July 29th to book with Cheryl.
I'm going there. I'm going there.
I'm in that time period, so you'll meet Sage?
Yes, I'm going on the 20th. That was why I booked it. We were saying in the beginning, yeah, I'm going. So you see, this is what you do. Get up and go. Yeah, I'm going to meet him then.
So July 20th to July 29th to book with Cheryl, 707-322-1979. Then to Los Angeles, you're going to call Narin, July 31st to August 7th, 386-631-4066. And then one quick trip back to Canada to Montreal, Quebec, you're going to call Christiane between August 23rd and September 1st, 438-929-0997. Here is a little lineup, a little summary sheet showing that where Dr. Sage Wolfe is going to be. You can see Wolfe Non-Surgical is on this slide for Calgary and Los Angeles. Wolfe Non-Surgical is there as well. Everything that you want to check out with our events or our trainings, you guys can always head to bhnuniversity.com. It's kind of the one-stop shop for events and calendars and course information. The 2025 course schedule left for Canada, like I said, the Wolfe Non-Surgical is in Calgary, June 14th to 25th. The women's pelvic restoration with Lorraine. Cheryl's traveling for that one as well. June 27th to 29th. I'm doing my best to show up in Calgary as well. I've got one of my consult clients that's going to be there and I want to meet her in person. Los Angeles, California is going to be the Whole Life Health Certified, September 13th to 21st. And then the Wolfe Non-Surgical is October 8th to 19th. Then in lovely Ixtapa, Mexico, Whole Life Health Certified starting October 29th. Wolfe Non-Surgical starting then November 9th, and the women's pelvic restoration will be November 21st to 23rd. And you guys can head to bhnuniversity.com and catch the information there. Also, USA financing is available. So everything we do here is to help you go from a patient to a healer, from a victor. I'm going to slow down. Judy's got me all excited, guys. From a patient to a healer, from a victim to a brave heart. And also we have our clinic in Ixtapa, Mexico. DOD5star.com is where you can head for that information. Okay. All these different social media sites here is available at the moment. Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, Telegram, BitChute. But our favorite version is always going to be within the app itself. Let's talk about the audios because Gerald likes to teach first and train second, teach and train first and then treat second, just like Judy said, totally lines up. To get these audios only so you can learn and put it on repeat as part of your fun summer that Dr. Judy Mikovits is talking about, head to Spreaker, Spotify, Zeeker, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible for all just the audio only versions so you can listen and listen and listen again. We have fulfillment centers in Canada, United States, and Australia. Head to shopdodnow.com and the computer will send your order to the correct warehouse. Now, if you are a fan of Dr. Detox, you love talking about Dr. Detox, we want to put some moolah back in your pocket. We want to say thank you. So you can get an affiliate link and be an affiliate partner. Sign up at docofdetoxpartner.com and earn that commission on referrals. Now, if you're already a practitioner and you're maybe selling products online or you have a clinic location already, we'd love for you to join the team and become a wholesale buyer. Talk directly with Dr. Daryl Wolfe about that. 469-861-9454, and the toll-free line 855-900-4544, extension 5. Now, let me just quickly scroll back through the chat. You guys had some wonderful comments in here. I answered about the training. Head to bhnuniversity.com. James, hopefully you caught the slide that said June 8th will be on the social media. The questions and answers is going to be online on a Zoom link. That's why they're saying sign up and book your attendance so you can get that Zoom link so you can be a part of the questions and answers. Robin, you've posted some really interesting links there. Thank you very much for that. Peter. You know what, Peter? Peter says, I sincerely hope she takes Fauci down. I don't think she's trying to take anyone down. She's just trying to share her light, share the truth, and the system and people who will then inform your wonderful leaders in charge. And I think just the truth will actually get themselves, get the people that lied in trouble themselves, right? Let's see. Hello from Stockholm. Amazing. The elbow is used in a lot of ancient Thai massage. Sita. Yeah, it works, right? Sita? Yeah, exactly. Christine Brisner. Who will show up in Montreal? Exactly, love. This is Christine. This is the host. You are welcome to meet me and Dr. Sage Wolfe in August in my clinic. Thank you very much for participating there, Christine. We love it. Okay, let's go to the DoD Power Plant Clinic slide. People that come and get trained with Dr. Dara Wolfe and want to have that full clinic, you can go to dodpowerpack.com. There's a picture of the Cellsonic, picture of the cardio med bed there, and Dr. Sage Wolfe teaching someone the Wolfe Non-Surgical in the middle. So you buy these energy medicine devices to set up a DoD Power Pack clinic. You will get this wonderful 22-day training session for you. Now you can sign up for financing for the Power Pack clinic or for the courses themselves. So dodpowerpack.com, you'll see a link there for financing the Cellsonic regeneration and the cardio med bed. And also at BHN University, if you want to sign up for the Whole Life Health Certified, the Wolfe Non-Surgical Certified, or everything put together as the New World Practitioner. And that is for USA people, that financing. Okay, DoD 5-star World Healing and Training Retreat is there for you. It is a wonderful exotic location with wonderful food and wonderful people. And Dr. Durawolf's, all of his energy medicine devices are there. DoD 5-star, the number 5.com in Ixtapa, Zihuatanejo, Mexico. Here's a lovely picture showing you the location where you can sit and chill in the pool. And again, someone doing the Wolfe Non-Surgical. So head to DoD, the number 5-star.com. Now, if you can't get to Ixtapa, Mexico, Dr. Sage Wolfe can come to you. Give the team a call. They'd love to get it set up. They'd love to set up exactly what you need and give you a quote on what that's going to cost. Give them a call to Dr. Dara Wolfe himself, 855-900-4544, extension 5. And the USA Direct is 469-861-9454. Okay, bhnuniversity.com to unleash that healer within. Here it is, the costs. Whole Life Health Certified, 9 days for $39.95. Wolfe Non-Surgical Certified, it's a 12-day course for $4,900. Like I said, put these together. This is called the New World Practitioner Certified, 21 days, $8,000. And the Pelvic Restoration and Disease Prevention for women only, because it is all about the female region in the pelvic. 3-day masterclass, $11.97. So be here now, show up now, and unleash the healer within at bhnuniversity.com. Financing is available for everything, just like we said. Go to bhnuniversity.com for the courses. Go to dodpowerpack.com for the Cellsonic regeneration or the cardio med bed. Now, if you're wanting to get educated about what is a perfect day, what does this mean, or you just want a guide and a coach, Dr. Dara Wolfe is there for $250, which is basically half price, guys, right? Anybody that wants to do a personalized consultation with someone like myself, I would love to build your perfect day for you. $150. Go to perfectdayconsultations.com. One little caveat is if you're dealing with a chronic illness and you're actively kind of looking for answers while you have this chronic diagnosis, you're going to reach out directly to Dr. Dara Wolfe. Otherwise, someone like myself would love to be there to craft your perfect day together for you. Now, if you're a fan of Dr. Dara Wolfe and you love all the sayings that he's come up with, you're going to want some of the clothing. We've got sweatshirts. My nose is quite itchy this morning. Got sweatshirts, t-shirts, hats, all these lovely options for you and all these fun sayings. We rise together, 3, 2, 1, I got this, patient to healer, and healer to doctor. Let's talk about the Perfect Day Guide. It is a wonderful online free download, or you can get the printed version for $95. It's a wonderful, beautiful document, well over 500 pages. It's lovely enough. It can sit right on your coffee table and grace that living room for you. So again, free to download. Go to pdgfree.com or purchase it online at docofdetoxstore.com. Now, if you go to pdgfree.com, you're also going to see a link to download the Healthy to 100. It's a book that Dr. Dara Wolfe has written to all there for you to take back your power. Again, pdgfree.com, and you'll get 2 links to download documents. Everything we've done today is to help you to understand that the only permanent healthcare is your self-care. The only permanent love is your self-love. So once you understand that, now you are ready to rise to your full potential. You are ready to first love yourself and fly. We love everyone coming together. Dr. Dara Wolfe is attracting in some very high-level collaborations that you just experienced today. Dr. Judy will be back on Friday. And then, like she said, everyone will take that Sabbath rest on Saturday and review our week, and enjoy what God has been able to do with our efforts. So come together at bhnuniversity.com or theapp.com. Yeah, and remember what we chatted about today, guys. We're growing by such leaps and bounds. Can we really count on the social media channels to be there for us and to not shadow ban us? We don't think so. That's why Dr. Dara Wolfe is ahead of the curve. He is there putting together this app, and it is up and running. It is your source for freedom, health, and healing. We want to stay connected, and we want to unite the whole world together. So let's go to the Braveheart Oath. And let's take a breath. Today was a fantastic show. Dr. Judy has this ability to take all this wild information that she has learned and lived and seen the lies and see the words that they use that to the untrained ear, we don't know that it was a lie, but people like Dr. Judy are there to help show us what those words actually mean and show us that they actually have been lying right in our face and we just didn't know it, right? So let's go to the oath and read this together. Let's put our hand on our heart and take a breath or two. I am love. I am healed. I am Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will always trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love myself, first and foremost, before anyone else or anything else. So help me God, because I am, I can, I am love. I am healed. I am Braveheart. I'm all in for me. You know, Dr. Judy is all in for herself. And so everything that we do here is so that you can be all in for you too. You take care, Bravehearts. Have your best day until we see each other again here on BHN TV.